All right, good afternoon, everyone. Time is now 12:07. Here's a quick look at everything going on right now, and we're going to talk about the hail potential because that has escalated just a little bit within the last hour. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to break that down. But first, let's talk about yesterday's hail because we had some pretty large hail being recorded in Central Texas. More specifically, the largest hail report out of Wilco from yesterday is that 2.5-inch diameter hail near Taylor High School. That would be around tennis ball size, getting close to pickleball sized hail, maybe even golf ball sized hail in other spots as well. And it wasn't just Taylor, it was just Hutto, but we had areas north of Georgetown. There was a report near Gerald and a report near the Andis area, right there along 183, just off to the north and west of Liberty Hill. And there was also one south of 79 getting close to the Pflugerville area as well. Now your satellite and radar does show mostly dry conditions throughout the KVU area, including portions of Wilco. We did have a brief shower earlier this afternoon, or this morning, I should say, over portions of Bastrop County. But right now we're looking at highs that are going to be getting to the lower 90s overall. Let's take a look once again. This is the Oasis weather camera over Lake Travis. And there you see the Sometimes Islands there, right there in the background with those nice cumulus clouds. I do want to stress that today we may not want to have the sun out, but that's exactly what we've got. And that's because with that sun, we've got that daytime heating. And when we have that daytime heating, we have a lot more instability in the atmosphere, and that could erode that cap, and that could create those stronger, taller thunderstorms that we could be seeing later on tonight. Mid-80s at both Camp Mabry as well as the Austin Airport. And as we take a look at our temperatures right now, low to mid-80s area-wide. We do have upper 80s popping up in Pflugerville already. So it's already getting to be a very toasty afternoon for most of us, with lower 80s now popping up through sections of the Hill Country, including Mason, Fredericksburg, as well as Blanco. Your allergy count does have grass as well as hickory and mold. They are all in the medium. Willow as well as ash, they are in the low. And you can find this allergy count each and every day on KVU.com and the KVU app. Now let's look at our storm chances for later on this afternoon. I'm thinking a timeline between around 5, 6, and 7 o'clock. Maybe even around 11 o'clock could have a few scattered storms that could linger around as well. But by and large, I do expect scattered storm coverage at best. Now that weather setup does have that frontal boundary over North Texas and that dry line over portions of the Concho Valley and Big Country. That draw line is going to slowly slide eastward, and as it does, that front is going to drip southward, and that's going to allow for a lot of that energy to be cooked up right here in the Austin metro and throughout most of Central Texas. And that's what's going to lead to those higher chances for some of those stronger storms. As you see that Thursday storm outlook of 2 out of 5 for most of us now. Coastal plains, you still have a 1 out of 5 marginal risk still in place for you guys. But I would not be shocked if a lot of us were under a severe thunderstorm watch at some point later on this afternoon. Now, this is the key critical graphic I want y'all to look at, and that is our hail outlook. And that is because most of the Austin metro, as well as some portions of the Hill Country, are in that hatched area for hail. That is the significant hail parameter, which means some areas could have hail like what we saw in Taylor that would be 2 inches in diameter or larger. Not so much so if you are not in the hatched area, but still a 15% possibility. The Storm Prediction Center just highlighted northern sections of the Austin metro and pretty much all of Wilco for more potential of very large hail later on tonight. So those are the main threats. Damaging winds are also possible, with gusts getting up to around 60 miles an hour, and could have some ponding on the roadways with some of the heaviest downpours. Now let's go ahead and let's time everything out. This is at around 3 p.m. and we've got low to mid 90s pretty much area wide before those storms start to flare up. This is by around 7 p.m. and this particular model has the coastal plains being involved for the most part, but anyone in the KVU area is going to be fair game, not just for today, but for tomorrow as well. As we head through Friday morning, starting off with those mid to upper 60s area wide, some areas may get to around 70, but there are other areas that could get down to those upper 50s, depending on what that front will be doing by the time we get to Friday afternoon. And then this is as we head into Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Look at this. It looks like another round of rain for most of us, and this looks to be the heaviest rain of these few days that we've been having some of these storm chances. And some of these rainfall totals could be pretty large. We could be getting to around 2.5 inches. Some areas could get even higher than that, maybe even 3 inches of rain for most of us. Some areas in the hill country may just get around a few hundredths of an inch, but by and large, we're looking at widespread beneficial rain. Now, the caveat to that is with that beneficial rain, the flood threat increases. And for today, we have a 1 out of 4 marginal risk of excessive rainfall. But by the time we get to tomorrow, that becomes a 2 out of 4 risk. And the accumulation of rain from previous rounds will help contribute to this. So minor flooding definitely is possible tomorrow. And remember, if you encounter a flooded road at any point, turn around, don't drown. Now, we could use the rain, though, because we have seen some improvements from our drought monitor. If you remember last week, we had LaGrange in that extreme level of drought. It's now dropped back down to the severe level, and I have a feeling that a lot of us will see improvements for next week's drought monitor, given the rain that we will be seeing on Friday. But again, we still have portions of the southern hill country still in that exceptional level of drought. And we're even starting to see improvements in northern sections of the hill country and even sections of Wilco as well. So good news on that particular front. Let's hopefully keep it up. Let's just not have all of that flooding that is likely with some of those storms. I have a 70% chance for your Friday, but a 30% chance for it today. And then a 20% chance of those storms as everything moves out on Saturday. Saturday and Sunday, for the most part, do appear to be dry, but then we have better storm chances by the time we get to your Tuesday and your Wednesday. So by and large, today is going to be the hottest day of the next 7, but it's going to be looking like around to below average for most of the weekend and into early next week. So we're going to be really watching this very, very closely. And so to the 90-60 y'all watching, thank y'all for joining us this afternoon. We've got definitely hail that we are going to be watching very, very closely. Let's see. Let's see. Bugs. There we go. Let's get those boxes right. All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to show the hail outlook one more time. And what I'm going to show you is that hatched area. Again, for those who are just now joining us, we have this area that is lined in those dash marks right here. And that is for the northern Austin Metro, also portions of the eastern hill country, so just west of 535. Places like Llano, out toward Taos, Burnett, pretty much all of Burnett County, as a matter of fact, and all the way back toward Wilco and Milam counties. You guys are in that significant hail parameter. And if you're outside of it, that doesn't mean you won't see large hail. It just means that there's a higher likelihood of large hail in that hatched area. And that means 2 inches hail diameter or larger for all of those areas, and that does include portions of the Austin Metro. So, a friendly reminder is that there is a severe thunderstorm warning for hail. It would be a good idea to get your cars in the garage no matter how large the hail is. And that is because any little bit of hail can cause dents and dings in your car, but larger hail can cause even more damage, such as busted windows, busted windshields, busted hoods, things of that particular nature. And so you want to make sure that you are avoiding that. So please, 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 and I mean this, the hail threat is not something you want to take lightly, even though it's not necessarily a tornado threat, not necessarily if it's damaging wind threat. Hail is still something that can cause damage. So you want to make sure that you are sticking with KView, and we're going to have all of the latest on this. So Gloria's saying, so I need to put my car in the garage. Gloria, where are you sitting? Where are you located? So if you're in Wilco, you definitely should get your car in the garage for sure. If there's severe thunderstorm warned storms that are possible, I would say absolutely it's a good idea to put your car in the garage, because that is definitely, that can cause damage very, very easily, and we don't want any issues with that. Let's see. Also, we're going to take a look at the wind threat, and let's see what the SPC says about the wind threat. Okay, so the wind outlook doesn't really look as severe as the hail threat, but Gloria Acevedo, Georgetown, yes, you're in that hatched area. Georgetown's in the hatched area for sure. So you really, really need to make sure that if a storm develops, that car needs to be in the garage. And I also want to say this, and I think this is very important. If you've got a large truck, I know a lot of you have those large F-150s, have those large pickup trucks, and they're not small enough for a garage, you want to make sure that you have them covered. You want to make sure you have multiple layers like a blanket, a cardboard box. You want to make sure you have all of that together and on top of every part of your vehicle that could take damage from hail, like your windows, your hoods, your truck beds even. They can cause some damage too. You want to make sure that every bit of your property outside is protected from any potential hail damage. Maybe even windows as well. Now, winds can blow hail into windows and can cause window damage as well. So you want to be mindful of that. But at the same time, driftwood, looks like driftwood's in the hatched area, George. Belton, you're in that area, Katrina. Hi, Katrina. San Marcos does not look like you're in it. But San Marcos doesn't look like you're in the hail parameter. I'm going to go ahead and pull the hail parameter back up so that we can go through it together and really look at who's all in it. Let's go through it together and let's take a look at who's all in it. We're going to zoom in on some places. Enchanted Rock, Willow City, Eckert. We're going to go west to east here. Stonewall, Johnson City, Round Mountain, Marble Falls, Kingsland, Buchanan Dam, Tau, that area. Burnett, Fairland, Lake Victor, out toward Briggs, Bertram, Sudeth, Spicewood, all of Burnett County. Let's go ahead and say that. All of Burnett County, pretty much all of Wilco as well. Nameless Road, you're in it. Buda, you're not in it. Amanda, Amanda Moon. Pflugerville, you're right on the edge of that. Pflugerville looks like you're on the edge of that. Patricia said hail for Kyle. Kyle, you're not in it. Buda, you're not in the hatched area, but still hail is possible for you. Nameless Road, Lago Vista, Leander, looks like you are definitely in that hatched area as well. So pretty much all of Wilco is in it. So if you're in Williamson County, except for the Bocas area, you definitely need to assume that you're in the hatched area. The Coupland area, and now Milam County, we're looking at Thorndale, Rockdale, Cameron, Buckholtz, Branchville, Gauze, Maysfield, Minerva, Baileyville, Edgeworth, and then back into Bell County, Rogers, Salado, Belton, Temple, that's that particular area. So in the Austin Metro, if you live by the Domain, if you live by Q2 Stadium, Lakeline Mall, Steiner Ranch, Lost Creek, Bee Cave, Lakeway, Lago Vista, Hamilton Pugh, Fitzhugh, Hamilton Pool, excuse me. I got Hamilton Pool and Fitzhugh and accidentally combined those. That's my fault. Dripping Springs, Henley, out toward there. But now Wimberley, Kyle, Buda, San Marcos, you are not in the hatched area. However, the threat of hail still exists even if you are not in the hatched area. So anyone in the KVU area should take this precaution very seriously. Giddings, you are not in the hatched area, but hail is definitely a possibility. And where we are looking at timing, we are looking at, and let's go ahead and let's go through that together as well. 3, 4 o'clock, looking mostly dry. Things don't really pop until about 5:30, 6:30. Those are the cells that we'll be watching. 6:30, 7. But then by the time we get to 7:30, this model has everything pretty much off to our east. And then by the time we get to 9:30, 10 o'clock, could have a few isolated storms that may create a good bit of hail. Now, I do want to mention also the chances today are 30% at best, but I may up that to 40% by the time we get to the 4 o'clock show so that we can have more updates on this, because definitely models like to change. Even these short range models like to change with the trends and how the models are going, because a lot of the short range model data has really been struggling with this. So we need to really make sure that we nail down this forecast, because so that you all can stay informed and stay safe. Time frame, we are looking at early evening, Frank. We just went through it. Liberty Hill, you are looking at 4:35, maybe even 6:37. A lot of areas are seeing good bits of, seeing the potential for good bits of rain associated with this as well. And then let's move forward as well. So we head through Friday morning starting off dry, but then we have another round of rain that moves through late Friday afternoon into Friday evening. Now this looks like our better chance of rain over the next couple of days. That's not to say we won't have a rain and a hail threat later on tonight, but any storm that does pop up does have that chance, but the better storms will be tomorrow. Now let's get back to today. 4:30, and then 5, and then 6. That's when things start to pop for most of us. And then by the time we get to 8, 8:39, at 10 o'clock, things start to wind down, and that'll be the end of it for the night by then. So Gerald, you're in it. I do want to mention that Gerald is in that hatched area for hail, and timelines looking at around 4:35, 5:36, 6:30. LaGrange does not look like you're in the hatched area. Looks like you're in the lesser risk. And let's go ahead and I'm going to pull this back up to kind of show everybody. Now, to answer your question, Brandon, we're looking at hail in the hatched area getting between maybe even 2.5 inches in diameter. So about tennis ball size hail could definitely be possible. Golf ball size hail I wouldn't rule out either. But that's for the hatched area. Areas outside of it, I'm thinking more so golf ball size hail, maybe even smaller hail in our outer fringes of our viewing area, which does include LaGrange, to answer your question, Christian. And Round Rock, Pflugerville, Elgin, you guys aren't going to have as much of that, but Round Rock, Pflugerville, y'all are on the outer fringes of that hatched area. Round Rock, you're solidly in it. Pflugerville, you're kind of on those outer fringes, but still, I would prepare for golf ball size hail, or maybe even tennis ball size hail as well. It's not likely, but it's definitely, well, it is possible. I should say that. Definitely possible, but the chances are going to be widely scattered to isolated at best. It's only a 30% chance, but any storm that breaks that cap, especially in that hatched area, has that capability. Northeast Austin. Northeast Austin looks like y'all have a good chance of that. I don't know who's laughing there, but anyways, Liberty Hill. We're looking at a good chance of some of that hail that could be larger. Lago Vista, same story. Hutto, Taylor, y'all have elevated chances of hail. Kelly, Mitchell, Taylor yesterday had a report of tennis ball sized hail. As a matter of fact, near the high school, asking about Taylor. Good thing that y'all are asking about Taylor, because that's where it was. And Hutto, same story. So Hutto and Taylor is the same story. Hutto's same story as Taylor. So pretty much all of Wilco is in fair play for 2 to 2.5 inch diameter hail or larger. And it's isolated at best, but it's a definite possibility. So if you're in Williamson County, expect the possibility of large hail. It's not necessarily a lock that y'all will see it, but it is definitely a possibility with any storm that breaks that cap and is able to rise and get going. So I do want to mention that. Let's see, who else? Leslie was asking about Colleen. Colleen, you're in that hatched area as well. Hi to my former viewers of our sister station, KCEN, by the way. And timing-wise, let's go through the timing one more time. We're going to start at around 3 o'clock. That's peak daytime heating, getting to around the lower 90s. And another thing of note, the sun's going to be out most of the day. And so we're going to have quite a bit of instability. And I'm going to show you what we're talking about, why we're going to have that instability again. And I'm going to put the boxes back up here. And that is because we've got the frontal boundary to our north and the dry line off to our west. And when that frontal boundary drops towards us and that dry line moves east of us, that's going to add to that lift. That's going to add to that instability. And that's what's going to allow for those stronger storms to pop up. And so with that, let's get back to the timing of everything. And as we look, 4:35, 5:36, 6:37, that's going to be your main timeline, especially for some of our northern counties like Williamson County, like Milam County. And then by the time we get to 7:30, 8 o'clock, could have another round of storms that pop up. And I want to also mention Friday's flood threat. Today's storm chances are going to contribute to Friday's flood threat because Friday's our heaviest rain chance. But any rain that's already fallen, Friday's rain will be on top of that. And that's going to lead to some runoff, and that could lead to some minor street flooding as well. And so by the time we get to 10, 11, maybe even midnight, that's when things start to simmer down a little bit. Brandon, we are looking more so like a wind and hail threat. The tornado threat is very low. Yes, there was a tornado watch for Milam County, but the tornado threat is low for the most part, and very, very low at that. Isaac, I just answered that question about your time. Cedar Creek, we're looking at still some hail possible, but not necessarily the hatched area. Cedar Creek is not in the hatched area. No one in Bastrop County is in the hatched area. I do want to mention that. Let's see. Anyone else? Leah Spires, Milam County, you're in the hatched area as well. Milam County, you're in the hatched area as well. So I'm going to go ahead and one more time, we're going to go through the areas that are in the hatched area, and we'll go town by town so that you can hear your town. If you hear your town, you are in the hatched area. So we're going to start in Llano County. We're going to start through the hill country and then work our way to the Austin Metro and then points east. So Llano, Buchanan Dam, Taos, Kingsland, Granite Shoals. We have Marble Falls in Burnett County as well, Enchanted Rock, then down toward far eastern Gillespie County, Eckert, Stonewall. You're in it as well. And now Blanco County, Johnson City, Round Mountain and Blanco. And then we've got Dripping Springs and Henley in northwestern Hayes County. Then we've got Cedar Valley and Hamilton Pool in southwestern Travis County, also the Fitzhugh area. Oak Hill, you're right on that line. Same story for Bee Cave. Just northwest of downtown Austin is where that line starts. Then we've got Lost Creek, Camp Mabry. It doesn't include Camp Mabry, RKView Studios, as well as if you're in North Austin, you're in it as well. The Austin Executive Airport. Manor, you're not in it, but the Executive Airport is. So Manor, I would, for the most part, treat it as if you are in the hatched area because you never know. You could still have a 2.5 diameter hail event for you guys. It's isolated and scattered at best, but I just want to make sure everyone's prepared. Now, if you live by Lakeline Mall, Laga Vista Steiner Ranch, Lakeway, Valente Beach Resort out toward Briarcliff, if you live near Mansfield Dam. We've also got Round Rock, Cedar Park, Leander, Georgetown out toward Hutto, Taylor again, and Coupland where you had that very large hail yesterday. And then along Highway 29, Circleville, out toward Weir, Georgetown, Sun City, Wahlberg, you're in it as well. New Corn Hill, out toward Liberty Hill, Andis, Florence, Gerald, If you're along 195, you're all in it. Granger, and then right on the Wilco-Bell County line with Bartlett, out toward Waterloo, and then Taylor, and then Thrall, and then out toward Coupland. And then eventually, Milam County, we've got Thorndale, Davila, San Gabriel, Rockdale, Milano, Branchville, Minerva, Macefield, Gauze, Cameron, Buckholtz, and it looks like that's about it. So again, we're stressing the importance of making sure that you're prepared for any large hail that does pop up here in the KVU area. But again, we're going to watch this for you. It is going to be isolated at best. Now, Bastrop, you are not in it. If we're looking at Wilco, what time in Wilco? We're looking between 4 and 7 p.m. So that's pretty much what we've got. And Brent asking about Caldwell County. Caldwell County, as a matter of fact, you guys are in a slightly lesser risk for large hail, but small hail is still possible with any storm that pops up for you guys. I just want to make sure we focus for the areas in the hatched area. San Marcos 6 to 8, that looks like the main time frame for some of these storms. And with that, I just want to say thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to have more on KVU News at 4 with all the latest on this. And at 5, 6, and 10, our chief meteorologist, Hunter Williams, he is going to come in and he is going to provide up-to-the-minute coverage of any storm that does pop up. Again, I'm meteorologist Jordan Aaronsberg. I will see y'all at 4 on KVU News at 4. Not just here on KVU.com if you're watching on our website, or KVU Plus if you are watching there on your Fire Stick, Apple TV, or Roku, but also on air as well. So hopefully you can join us then.